From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Friday, August 21st, right now on Good Morning Indiana. A new survey showing members of Metro Police at odds with the mayor and chief of police. The issues officers say they're facing and how the city is responding. With more cases of COVID-19 reported in schools, more districts are switching to e-learning. A look at what the YMCA is doing to make sure that kids have reliable internet access as schools make these adjustments.
It's kind of hard because they're doing the first 5 weeks online, so it's kind of hard to figure out what they need.
Back to school shopping is coming with new challenges. We'll show you the top supplies students need this year and where you can find good deals so you don't waste your money. And the countdown to the greatest spectacle in racing continues this morning. Our Alyssa Donovan is live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with what you could expect on this carb day and race weekend.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, August the 21st. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Our good friend Lauren Casey is off this morning. She is celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday to Lauren. And today we are celebrating, of course, because it is finally race weekend, Todd Clausen, here in Indianapolis. We've waited so many weeks for this, and so hopefully the pressure's on. We now a dry forecast for Sunday. No pressure, no worries. Come on.
There's about a 20% chance of an isolated storm on race day, Rafael, but we'll get the race in. You don't have to worry about that. It's just going to be very spotty as a weak little front comes through. Today, though, not much in the way of rain in the forecast, especially here this morning as we're starting you off with clear skies and a temperature in Indianapolis that sits at 62 degrees, just that light wind out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. But once you get outside of the city, just like the past 2 mornings, it's really, really comfortable with temperatures that are in the 50s, 58 in Bloomington, 56 in Peru, Muncie at 55 degrees. As far as the clouds go, you notice there's a little more in the way of cloud cover in southern locations, part of an area of low pressure that is down to our south. The rain today makes it up as far as about the Ohio River with maybe a stray shower towards Seymour, but most of us dry, mostly sunny, turning partly cloudy throughout the afternoon hours with high temperatures, Rafael, that'll be topping off in the low 80s across most of the area.
Todd, thank you so much. Now let's take a live look at the city's northwest side as we check your morning commute on this Friday. A live look at I-65 and I-865 there on the city's northwest side. As you can see, the workday is underway as folks are heading to work this morning. Also keep in mind that school buses are out and about this morning, so watch your speeds as they pick up the young kids throughout central Indiana. New this morning, a recent survey from the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police reveals that IMPD officers are at odds with both the mayor and the chief of police. 60% of IMPD members participated in the survey, which showed the following results. 58% do not feel they have the support of the chief. 93% do not believe they have the support from the mayor in their day-to-day job duties. 80% do not think the department is moving in the right direction to serve the community. And 91% do not believe they are respected and valued by the mayor's administration. Now, in response to the survey, the city did release this statement to WRTV, saying in part, as a former federal prosecutor, Mayor Hogsett has always been a proponent of thoughtful investments in public safety. He has committed funding each year to grow IMPD to 1,743 officers, allowing for the return to community-based beat policing, which expanded this summer. The statement goes on to say, and his administration has prioritized investment in less lethal options and new technology to support officers, such as body-worn cameras, all while growing funding to address the root causes of violence through millions of dollars for community-based programming. Now, last night, activists held a funeral procession through Indianapolis to remember Dre'Jon Reed and Mikhail Rose. It has been 15 weeks since the separate Metro police shootings left 2 men dead. Activists say they want justice. They also are demanding answers. An IMPD officer shot and killed Reed on May the 6th during a chase on the city's northwest side. Investigators say Reed exchanged fire with the officer. Attorneys for Reed's family dispute that claim. In a separate incident, Rose was shot and killed hours later. In that case, police say that Rose may have been planning to ambush officers when they responded to a burglary call. Another protest is planned for this evening.
That's why we're here today, to get answers from the mayor. And when we say no justice, no peace, that means no peace. So we're going to continue to press for answers. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to get justice.
A special prosecutor is investigating the Reed case, which remains ongoing. Now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak in our state. The state health department reporting 955 new cases of the virus. That brings the total number of cases to 83,277. Marion County has the most in our state, now surpassing 17,000 cases. 11 new deaths were also confirmed. 2,979 total COVID-related deaths have been reported since the pandemic began. More than 945,000 Hoosiers have been tested so far. Another central Indiana school district making changes due to positive COVID-19 cases. This time, Center Grove High School on the city's south side in Johnson County, Middle School Central and Middle School North are switching to e-learning next week. After that, they will have a minimum 2 weeks on a hybrid schedule after that. So far, the district has reported 7 cases in its schools. They did not say whether those individuals were students or staff. The district says that extracurricular activities as well as athletics will continue as scheduled. You can find more details on our website, WRTV.com. The YMCA of Greater Indianapolis is offering help to kids who might not have reliable internet at home for remote learning. The organization now rolling out new e-learning labs for students in grades 6 through 12th grade. The spaces are by reservation Monday through Thursday from noon until 6:30 in the evening. Each slot is 2 hours long and can be secured online. The program kicks off Monday at several locations, including the Avondale Meadows, the Baxter, and the Ortho Indy Foundation locations. Labs are supervised and will be available through December. The director of the CDC says that southern states are turning the tide against new cases, while the government releases a new timeline on when a vaccine could be widely available. ABC's Andrea Fujiji has the details.
This morning, a new prediction from government health officials that a coronavirus vaccine may not be available to most people until as late as next June. It comes as positive signs start to emerge amid the pandemic. New data from Johns Hopkins University showing cases in the U.S. are on the decline for a 4th straight week. Overnight, Philadelphia announcing that restaurants can open for indoor dining with restrictions starting September 8th. And the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will go on this year. New York City's mayor saying it'll look different, but traditions will stay the same. As the president continues to urge all schools to open, new guidelines from Policy Lab at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia that schools should only reopen in areas where positive test results are less than 5%.
Only a couple dozen of the 750 counties that we track each week would meet those criteria today.
In Los Angeles, it's day 2 of online learning for the 2nd largest school district in the country. And in Indiana, a switch to remote learning for one school district after multiple students tested positive. On college campuses, health officials say parties like this one at Syracuse University must stop. This junior at the University of Michigan, where more than a dozen students have tested positive, wants her classmates to do better.
Your choices will have repercussions.
Purdue suspended 36 students for partying. And the University of Kansas just connected dozens of new COVID cases to Greek houses on campus.
I've been feeling pretty anxious, honestly. I have really bad asthma.
In pro sports, 2 members of the New York Mets tested positive, forcing their games against the Yankees and Marlins to be postponed. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
So here we go. It is race weekend in Indianapolis. It will be quite different, but the tradition will continue with Carb Day today. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Raphael. It is going to be a very different scene here at IMS today compared to years past. Typically, Carb Day is a very exciting day here in Speedway. It's sort of the second largest day of the weekend. It's the kickoff for a lot of people as they finish off their work week and get into the groove of race weekend. But things are going to be really different this year. And here's a look at some of those crowds from last year's Carb Day. This year, the closest you can get is to the fence to hear the cars speeding past. And unlike years past, the exciting day will not be ending in a concert. But IMS is encouraging fans to tune in virtually to some festivities. From noon until 2 today, fans can tune in online to see highlights from some of the most iconic Indy 500 pit stop challenges. And they're also encouraging fans to have their own socially distanced porch parties. The decision to cancel traditional Carb Day festivities was a tough one, but we spoke with IMS President Doug Bowles about tuning in on race day, and there are some traditional things that you can look forward to when you stream or watch the race on TV this Sunday.
So the elements that you would expect that are really, really important are staying. The national anthem with the singing surgeons we're excited about. Having Jim Corneliuson back again, I texted with him last night. He is so excited about the way he can interact with our fans, and he understands the importance of back home again in Indiana and those 90 seconds that no matter where you're from, whether you're here or you're watching, you're a Hoosier for that period of time.
Roger Penske also put out a note to fans saying, "I'll miss you on Sunday. Believe me, there's no one more than me who wanted fans to be able to watch the 104th running of the Indy 500 in person." And of course, it's not the same, but we've seen behind me that fence, we've seen fans coming up to that throughout the week during practice, listening to the cars and trying to see through the bleachers what they can of the practices. Of course, it's not going to be the same spirit, but IMS is trying to bring you that Carb Day from home the best they can. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
All right, thank you there, Alyssa. It's going to be a mainly dry forecast for your Carb Day today. The clouds are starting to increase already in some southern locations, but the rain should stay to our south today. It doesn't stay to our south, though, throughout the entire weekend, unfortunately. We'll detail the rain chances for both your Saturday and your race day coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
I'm a proud Democrat, and I'll be proud to carry the banner of our party into the general election.
On the final night of the Democratic National Convention, Joe Biden officially accepted the Democratic nomination for president. As we continue to coverage the Democracy 2020 here on WRTV, his speech was touching on policy, of course, touching also on his loss. Scripps correspondent Joe St. George has more on that celebration and what's coming up next for President Trump's convention next week.
If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I'll be an ally of the light, not the darkness.
Joe Biden speaks to the nation, the Democratic nominee for president, with the biggest speech of his political career.
Our current president has failed in his most basic duty to the nation. He's failed to protect us.
Biden taking on President Trump, outlining his policy position that he'd issue a nationwide mask order if elected. But the night also featured something Biden isn't afraid to talk about: loss. He spoke to those who have lost someone during this pandemic.
Your loved one may have left this earth, but they'll never leave your heart.
As a sign of the times, Biden only hugging his wife inside the hall after the speech. But both Biden and vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris went outside afterwards to greet supporters in their cars and to briefly watch fireworks, wearing masks. The final night of the virtual DNC seemed to have a little bit of everything.
30330. That would be the president's golf score if he didn't cheat.
Comedy by the moderator.
Stutter.
Emotion with the story of a young boy who, like Joe Biden, struggles with a stutter. The focus now, though, shifting to the Republicans. President Trump's convention begins on Monday. Campaign spokesman Hogan Gidley telling us they'll be ready with plenty of surprises.
We saw what the Democrats did, but that's not necessarily going to affect what we had planned to do all along. This president, if we know anything about him, He knows how to put on a production.
In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
The NAACP is now suing Postmaster General Louis DeJoy and the U.S. Postal Service in D.C. federal court. The suit aims to reverse recent changes that the Postal Service announced last month that led to mail delivery delays. It alleges that DeJoy sabotaged the Postal Service to slow mail and mail-in ballots to disenfranchise voters of color. DeJoy said Tuesday that the Postal Service would halt the changes until after the election. Now, he's scheduled to testify before the Senate today to answer questions about this issue. The White House is now declaring that teachers are essential workers. And that means that teachers will get the same kind of advisories as doctors and law enforcement. It also allows them to continue working even after exposure to a confirmed case of COVID-19, as long as they're not showing any symptoms. Now, the American Federation of Teachers, the union, says that they're afraid the designation could be used to bully educators. At 6:18, time to check your forecast. And Todd Clausen, it has been a great week to exercise or to walk your dog early in the morning because of no humidity.
Yeah, virtually there's been absolutely no humidity the past few days. Even in the afternoon hours, our humidity has been in the 40s. So it's been really, really dry. And with those cooler temperatures the past few mornings and this morning, Raphael, you're exactly right. A great opportunity to get out and about and enjoy what is relatively cooler air for this time of year. If you're a fan of summer, wait till you see our 7-day planning forecast. Summer is coming back in a big time way. The sky's just now starting to brighten on this Friday morning as we wrap up yet another work week here. The temperature sits at 62 degrees in Indianapolis right now, but still some 50s there in the outlying areas. 54 in Kokomo. It's 55 right now in Muncie and Bloomington at 58. So some of you may want to have a light jacket handy here this morning, but you'll be able to shed that jacket pretty quickly once the sun comes up here and we start to see those temperatures warm pretty quickly. Now, there's a little more in the way of cloud cover in the forecast for the day today. And when I say more in the way of cloud cover, I don't mean it's going to be completely overcast throughout the entire day. It's just more cloud cover compared to the past 2 days, which have been absolutely spectacular. But it's part of an area of low pressure that is down to the south, spinning away here in parts of Alabama. And this area of low pressure is going to slowly start to make its way up towards West Virginia and Ohio. So it's going to pass off to the east of us. But with the counterclockwise rotation around an area of low pressure, it's going to try to pinwheel some showers into our area. Now, I think we will see partly cloudy skies, especially south of Indianapolis. Most of the rain, with the air being really, really dry, shouldn't make it into central Indiana here throughout the day today. If we did see a shower, it's Seymour and to the south. So that's as far as rain goes for the day today. Now, the temperatures will warm quickly today, up to 78 degrees already by the noon hour. 84 will be your high temperature for the day today. And this evening, if you have plans on this Friday night, you'll be just fine as temperatures will cool back down into the 70s. Now, the all-important weekend forecast, Saturday starts you off at 65 degrees and gets you up to about 83 to 85 for your high temperature tomorrow, and then 86 on race day. And race day has about a 20% chance of an isolated storm. So if we go back over to TrueCast on Saturday, you could see the best opportunity for some rain tomorrow will be some scattered storms during the afternoon hours, mainly south of Interstate 70. Those showers will move off towards the east, and then a weak little front comes through on Sunday, and that will give us the opportunity of a spot storm as we work our way into race day. And then next week, it's all about the heat and humidity, with high temperatures that'll be talking me off right around 90 degrees.
Todd, thank you. The Pacers need to make a comeback tomorrow after another playoff loss to the Heat yesterday. Victor Oladipo returned to the lineup after getting poked in the eye in Game 1 and leaving in the first quarter. Now, he scored the team-high 22 points, but it wasn't enough. The Blue and Gold lost 109-100, putting them down 2 games in the series. Come on, Pacers, you can do it. The school year, as you know, is very different, and so is back-to-school shopping. So coming up, where you can find the best deals so you don't waste your money. And a big good morning to Trafalgar, Thorntown, and Tipton, all great places to call home. But check out our view this morning of the skyline right here in Indianapolis. We live in a beautiful place. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. The time now is 6:25. Time to check to see what's trending at 6. So a Rolling Stones legend took painted black literally during the pandemic. You see, Ronnie Wood says he wasn't going to let the lockdown depress him. So what? He started the day, of course, creating new art. Now his series of over 100 paintings are being shown at a stately home in southeast England. The money raised is going to the UK's National Health Service. That's simply amazing. Wow, look at that artwork, looking really good there. In upstate New York, residents are baffled by this large safe that was dropped in the middle of a farmer's field. The safe mysteriously appeared in Kirk Mathis's field with a note which simply said whoever finds it could keep it and keep what's inside. Now, local authorities have tried to crack the safe but could not get it open. While many are still eager to know what's inside, Mathis says it's more fun to keep the mystery. And it's no mystery about this young lady. She's a young lady who lives here in Indianapolis. Congratulations today to Katina Washington. Katina is our hometown hero on this Friday. Katina is all about helping people with a dream to start their own business through her program known as SHE. It stands for She Has Everything. Katina also offers workshops on leadership and money management. Time now to check your forecast with our very own Todd Clausen. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning there, Raphael. It's going to be another good day for us here as we round out the work week in central Indiana. It's been a spectacular week of weather. Some minor changes today, but as the kids head off to school this morning, you're just fine as we are going to have mainly clear skies to start your day. Temperature right around 60 degrees as the kids come home from school. A little warmer than it has been, 82, but send them out, let them play out with the friends in the yard or just in your backyard, 82 degrees. As far as rain, some rain chances do come back into the forecast Saturday and Sunday. There's small rain chances, but we'll talk about them coming up in just a little bit, Raphael.
Todd, thank you so much. Back to school shopping has been slow this year for a number of reasons. Of course, the pandemic. Consumer reporter John Matteries shows us what's on sale, what's not, and the one item that you should buy like right now so you don't waste your money.
It's the heart of back-to-school shopping season, but during this pandemic year, many parents are wondering, where are the big sales? You may have noticed something missing this year.
I've been told that stuff can make or break your entire year.
Those TV commercials for jeans, gym shoes, and backpacks. It's tough for stores to plan sales when moms like Harley Elliott have no idea what their kids will need.
It's very tricky. I have 2 6th graders and 2 8th graders.
Anisha Crawford doesn't plan to buy school clothes.
Well, it's kind of hard because they're doing the first 5 weeks online, so it's kind of hard to figure out what they need.
With this school year so up in the air, retail experts say stores did not want to get stuck with a lot of merchandise that they couldn't sell. So it's unlikely you'll find giant sale racks of clearance items just yet.
So we actually think we might see sales and the best time to buy stretch into later August, when typically it's right about now.
Joni Deemer is the founder of CrazyCouponLady.com. She says the hottest items this year are laptops and webcams for Zoom learning. But those items are running low now, so don't expect huge discounts.
The items that are in really high demand, we're not seeing a tremendous amount of sales on.
But Joni says you will find great prices on the basics.
We're seeing prices on par with last year when it comes to notebooks and binders and erasers.
Best of all, major stores are offering all their sale prices online this year for shoppers who want to stay out of stores.
Whether our customers want to shop in store or online, they'll get the same great products at our everyday low prices.
So the sales are still on, just without the fanfare. The Crazy Coupon Lady says if shoes and clothing don't sell well this month, look for huge markdowns in September. So don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's your 6:30 news feed. Hoosiers who've had to drop out or put higher learning on pause due to financial roadblocks have more resources available. More than $327,000 from the CARES Act is going toward Indy Achieves completion grants. The grants cover debt, unpaid bursar bills, and other costs that prevent IUPUI and Ivy Tech students from continuing their education. This young pup was named in honor of a Metro Police officer who gave her life in the line of duty. Thursday, Metro Police and the Indiana Canine Assistance Network introduced Breezy, the service dog. Officer Brianne Leith was shot and killed while responding to a domestic disturbance call in April in Indianapolis. ICANN has named several dogs after local fallen officers and service members. And Game 3 of the Pacers-Heat playoff battle is this Saturday. Our home team will be trying to climb out of a hole. The Pacers are down 2-0 in the series after losing 109-100. Victor Oladipo, he returned to the lineup after getting poked in the eye in Game 1 and leaving in the first quarter. He scored a team-high 22 points, but that was not enough. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. It is race weekend here in Indianapolis, and let's begin with meteorologist Todd Clausen, who drives our award-winning forecast every single day. Whether it's hot or humid, Todd, we still love you, but tell me today will be nice, please.
Yeah, well, thank you, Raphael. Yeah, and today is going to be a nice day for us. A little warmer than it has been, and you'll notice a touch more humidity. But all in all, you have to remember, it is the end of August here, and so you can't get too many days in a row like we just had. 2 in a row of low humidity, lots of sunshine and comfortable temperatures. Outside right now, we're getting off to a beautiful start with lots of sunshine and clear skies across the area, and temperatures that are going to be sitting in the 50s and 60s as you walk out the door the next hour or two. We're down to 62 degrees in Indy, 56 in Richmond, 58 in Bloomington, 56 from Tipton up towards the Peru area. And as you get going, there's a little more in the way of cloud cover to the south, but just some high, thin clouds. But as the day goes on, we'll go from mostly sunny to partly cloudy. It's a decent day for us. It's just a little more in the way of cloud cover compared to the past few days. And as far as rain, that should stay to our south for the day today. Some rain chances do creep back into the forecast, though, for the weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Raphael.
Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look at your morning commute right now. Live look now. This is I-465 and Meridian Street. As you can see, traffic is building this morning. The good news, no major traffic problems or throughout central Indiana. So keep that in mind as you're heading out this morning. Also, a great and a big good morning this to Muncie, Pendleton, and Brownsburg. Dozens this morning of students at IU and Purdue are facing punishment after attending large gatherings in violation of COVID-19 regulations. In West Lafayette, 36 Purdue students have been suspended following a party Wednesday night at an off-campus residence. In a statement, the university says the students violated the Protect Purdue pledge passed by the school's trustees back in May, all in an effort to prevent COVID outbreaks. The students can appeal. Now in Bloomington, IU administrators say they're actively investigating a large off-campus student party. IU says the party violated county and state regulations related to event size, physical distancing, and face coverings. President there, Michael McGroby, released a statement to students yesterday saying in part, "Since the earliest days of pandemic, you have told us that you want and value in-person on-campus learning. That means you must follow the behaviors and actions that you agreed to by signing the student commitment form." You can read the full statement and follow this story online at WRTV.com. Meanwhile, a new study adds to growing evidence that children and young adults may play a larger role in community spread than previously thought. The Journal of Pediatrics looked at nearly 200 young people from newborns to 22-year-olds who were hospitalized or went to urgent care. Researchers found that many carried a viral load significantly higher than hospitalized adults.
There have been some studies to show that children from 10 to 19 can transmit to adults as easily as adults transmit to adults.
Researchers also implied that schools may have to focus on testing rather than temperature checks because even asymptomatic kids could have high levels of COVID-19. Now taking a look at the latest COVID-19 data from the Indiana State Department of Health, the number of new COVID-19 cases is up significantly, but there are fewer newly reported deaths. 955 new cases of the coronavirus were reported on Thursday. That's nearly double the amount of new cases that was previously reported. The state says 11,613 more people have been tested for COVID-19. That's up from the 5,900 new tests Wednesday, which could be part of the reason why new cases spiked so much. The Department of Health confirms 11 new deaths. 2,979 Hoosiers have died since the pandemic began in March. In total, more than 945,000 people in our state have been tested for the coronavirus. 8.8% of them tested positive. 2 IMPD officers facing criminal charges are due back in court in November after making initial appearances on Thursday. After the men faced a judge, their attorney defended his clients.
These officers took action that were consistent with their police training and procedures, and more importantly, consistent with the law.
So let's talk about those officers. Jonathan Horlock and Nathaniel Shawwecker are charged in connection to the arrest of 2 women in May after the city issued a curfew to curb violence that erupted after peaceful protests. The video that went viral shows officers hitting one of the women with batons and pepper bullets. The other was shoved to the ground.
Make no mistake, it is law and order that is being prosecuted today, while those who brought destruction and violence upon our city are walking free. We can and we should have important community discussion about law enforcement policies, training, and procedures. But it is wrong to prosecute these police officers when they were simply doing their best to protect our city.
Now, both officers face battery and official misconduct charges. Officer Horlock is also charged with perjury and obstruction of justice. The trial date has now been set for November the 16th. His nomination is now official. Next, we look back at last night's Democratic National Convention, including remarks from a man who made political history right here in Indiana. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning.
The very ring on my finger, a wedding we celebrated, here where I'm standing, reflects how this country can change. Love makes my marriage real, but political courage made it possible.
A former South Bend Mayor, Pete Buttigieg, also a former presidential rival of the man who is now the Democratic nominee. But Buttigieg reminded the Democratic convention viewers that Joe Biden led the way on the issue of marriage equality. ABC's Inez de la Cuetara has more on the final night of the Democratic convention.
Overnight, former Vice President Biden officially accepting his party's nomination for president.
This is a life-changing election. This will determine what America is going to look like for a long, long time.
Biden laying out a detailed plan to address the COVID-19 pandemic while blasting President Trump's handling of the crisis.
Our current president has failed in his most basic duty to the nation. He's failed to protect us. He's failed to protect America. And my fellow Americans, that is unforgivable.
The virtual DNC closing out its 4th and final night with messages from his family.
We just knew that he had to run.
And people he's met on the campaign trail.
We were members of the same club. We stutter.
While also showcasing party unity. All of Biden's primary opponents now throwing their support behind their former rival.
Why the hell would we ever rehire Donald Trump for another 4 years?
Joe Biden is right. This is a contest for the soul of the nation.
President Trump hitting back, blasting the Democratic nominee while on the stump just a few miles from Biden's hometown.
He abandoned Pennsylvania. He abandoned Scranton.
Republicans will hold their convention next week. President Trump plans to deliver his acceptance speech from the White House. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
So it's a tradition with lots of changes this year. Next, we'll head out to the track for a live report on a carb day that will be like none we have seen before. But first, let's check your forecast with our very own Todd Clausen. Hey, TK.
Yeah, Raphael, as we look ahead to race weekend, some rain chances do creep back into the forecast as we'll bring in some scattered storms tomorrow and then just a chance of an isolated storm as we get into race day. Outside of those storm chances, though, plenty of sunshine both days as well. We'll break it down for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
It is Carb Day in Indianapolis in, of course, this new normal. Our traditional May event is now making this August appearance. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan joins us live this morning outside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where, Alyssa, it'll be a little different. Well, no, a lot different today, right?
A lot different, Raphael. Normally, we would see a line of cars here at IMS waiting to get inside the track, and Speedway would be preparing for an influx of people, crowds, fans, cars, all of that. But instead, things are very quiet here outside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway today, and Carb Day is going to look very different today as well. Instead of having all of those festivities, a lot of them are canceled, and some of them have switched to virtual this year. And here's a look at what Carb Day looked like last year. You can see all of the crowds back in May of 2019, and you can see why the festivities were canceled. Social distancing would have been quite a challenge. IMS is trying to keep the spirit of Carb Day alive with online festivities, encouraging people to wear their Carb Day outfits and share on social media, telling fans to throw socially distant porch parties. Despite the cancellations and no fans at the track, some people still try to get their fix by stopping by and peeking over the fence throughout practice this week. We spoke with a fan who was here doing just that.
Pretty disappointing, but it's nice to at least hear the cars running. Just love it here. Miss it every year. I always count down the days after the race is over till the next one.
He always says, I can't believe it's a whole nother year. I have to wait till I can come back here again.
And some fans have said they'll be holding their own viewing parties with limited amounts of people to at least have the camaraderie of race day. And Roger Penske did send out a note this week to fans saying he's going to miss them at the track. And he, of all people, really wanted to see all of the fans inside of Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 104th running of the Indy 500. Reporting live, I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you so much. So we can't be inside the track this year on race day, but WRTV will be there to bring you the sights and sounds on Sunday morning. Join our sports director Dave First, Brad Brown, and myself Sunday morning from 9 to 1 p.m. live on Facebook and WRTV.com. We'll be inside and outside the track and bringing you driver interviews along with the photos and video blogs to get you ready for the greatest spectacle in racing right here in Indianapolis. As you know, 2013 Indy 500 champion Tony Kanaan is one of our longtime colleagues here at WRTV. He, along with our Trackside 6 team, have been keeping you up to date with everything you need to know about the month of August and May-related events. And this morning, we're told he wanted to share something special, a special message with our Good Morning Indiana team.
Well, this is actually not an interview. This is actually a complaint to Raphael. 5:30 in the morning, 3 days ago, I woke up. Obviously, I watch your guys' news every morning before I work out, and I was distracted getting ready to work out. And Raphael says, "Hey, TK, tell us the weather." I turn around and look for a camera that I didn't know it even exists in my house, but I guess he was talking about Todd. So, Raphael, I'm the real TK. Todd, you're just Todd. Okay? Appreciate it. Thank you.
A couple of things before we go to our other favorite TK. You see, Tony Kanaan, an amazing pro athlete, so we wish him all the very best. Just a good human being overall. He, of course, from Brazil, so we want to say to him, obrigado, which means thanks for everything, Todd Clausen, because he has been an amazing champion, an amazing face for the sport. So, to my other favorite TK, Todd Clausen, on this race weekend, how are things going, TK?
That's funny. Made my morning. You know, Raphael, I always used to, people would always ask me, who's my pick to win the 500? And I always picked Tony Kanaan because he had the same initials, and then he wouldn't win. The one year I didn't pick him, he wins. So I stopped picking him. So hopefully he can bring it home again this year. But it's pretty funny. At least we got his attention there watching this morning. And good luck to the other TK here on Sunday. All right, outside right now, we're dealing with clear skies across the area. Beautiful shot from downtown to the north. And as we go forward throughout the course of the morning hours, these temperatures are going to warm very, very quickly. We're in the 50s and 60s this morning, so some of you may want a light jacket. It's very similar to yesterday as you get going on this Friday. 55 in Greencastle as well as Muncie, 56 in Tipton. 62 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. Radar is quiet. Obviously, we'll keep our eyes on radar going forward. Couple things I want to point out on here for you. Off to our west, this little band of rain, that's what we'll have to keep an eye on for the day on Sunday. That's a little front that's coming through with a spot storm chance. To our south, we have an area of low pressure that has some rain chances as well. And this area of low pressure is going to slowly make its way out of Alabama over towards the West Virginia area during the course of the day today and tomorrow. And it's going to try to throw back some showers into our forecast. Today, I think we see increasing clouds in southern locations, but just a stray shower in Seymour, as well as over maybe towards the Greensburg area, and that is just about it. So today's still a very, very nice day. 60s and 70s throughout the morning hours, should be up to 80 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. And then as we continue hour by hour throughout the afternoon, temperatures will be in the 80s and then eventually back into the 70s later on this evening. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, temperatures are going to be in the 50s and 60s. It's still a very comfortable morning for us. And then once we get into your weekend forecast, tomorrow's the better chance of storms compared to Sunday. So that's good news for the 500. Tomorrow's storms are mainly in southern locations coming in from south and then pushing towards the northwest with the clouds and a few downpours. But it's definitely not a washout on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it's just a chance of a spot storm flaring up as we get into the afternoon hours. It's going to be a warm race with temperatures that will be in the mid 80s, but they will get the race in. And hopefully those isolated storm chances will be off to the east of us with the later start compared to a normal year when the 500 starts at noon. It's 2:30 here this weekend. And as we go into next week, temperatures will be in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. So it turns very hot and humid as we go throughout next week. So enjoy the cooler temperatures once again this morning. And again, just some spotty storm chances in the forecast, Raphael, as we go into race weekend.
Todd, thank you so much, or as we call you, TK 2.0. Good News Friday is next on Good Morning Indiana. We're about to take off and go fishing. We'll show you how some folks who couldn't go fishing had the fishing brought right to them. That and much more coming up right here on Good Morning Indiana. The end of the week means it's time for stories we really hope will put a smile on your face. We begin east of Indianapolis. Let's take you to Hancock County, where some residents of a Greenfield assisted living community mentioned that they wanted to go fishing. So, of course, the staff stepped in and they made it happen. The Springhurst Health Campus Life Enrichment Team got help from the Greenfield Tractor Supply and the Clear Creek Fisheries of Martinsville. They got some tanks and filled them with water and catfish. The residents had a fishing trip right there on the Springhurst Greenfield campus. After 2 hours of fishing, one of the women who lives there was able to finally snag a catfish. They tell us the fishing trip was filled with lots of smiles and lots of laughs. This is the story of two brothers in Minnesota. Will Clausen, no relation to our own Todd Clausen, 24 years old, and his younger brother Henry. Now, Will is getting married to his fiancée, and he wanted his brother, who has special needs, to be his best man. The way he asked, a message in a bottle.
Already the best bro, and also the best friend. So will you please say yes to be my best man? Love, Will.
What? We want to be my best man? Oh my God!
Now listen, I could watch that all day long. What a moment captured on video. Will Clausen says of his younger brother, he's a role model of mine, but also he's my biggest fan and my biggest advocate. Look at that hug. Good brothers there. In Switzerland, it was cloudy with a chance of chocolate rain. Yes, I said chocolate was actually coming down from the sky. Take a look as residents posted photos of chocolate sprinkles covering cars and windows in a small town known as Olton. The mystery was solved when a local chocolate company, it took credit. Local media reported it was the result of a ventilation system malfunction at a nearby Lindt chocolate factory, which along with wind and rain spread that candy soot all over town. Listen, I'm already, Todd, I'm gonna head up to Lebanon where Donaldson's has a great chocolate company there by I-65. Hopefully they can just open up their kitchen and windows and we can enjoy some chocolate there in Lebanon. We'll see what happens. I'll give them a call. I think they open at 9 this morning. In the meantime, we are looking for a sweet forecast on this race weekend. Can it be a dry Sunday, Todd Clausen?
You know, there's definitely better chances for rain on Saturday, Raphael, and even Saturday it's pretty spotty as far as the storms go, and they're mainly going to be in southern locations. Unfortunately, we do have to keep an isolated storm chance in on race day, but isolated is the key word there. They should not be widespread at all. And temperatures over the weekend are going to be in the mid-80s. So it's a warm weekend for us, but not as warm as it's going to get next week. The heat really builds in as we'll be right around 90 degrees Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday. And the humidity comes up next week as well. So that'll put heat index values up into the mid-90s. So enjoy today. And again, just some spotty storms in the forecast over the weekend. So do not cancel any plans you may have.
Todd, thank you so much. And by the way, a happy birthday to our Lauren Casey on this day. Enjoy the sunrise. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.